Today we have Cork Oak. This comes to us from my friend Dennis, who lives in Oregon. He sent this along with a piece of olive wood, but since I just turned a piece of olive wood, and because I love Cork Oak just about as much as olive wood, we're going to turn it today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop, howdy, let's take a closer look at it. The piece is about 7 inches by 8 inches by 4 inches thick or 3 inches thick. It's pretty well cupped from drying, I guess. Looks like it was cut in January of 23, so it's just a year old. Dennis has sealed up the ends with some sort of wax to keep it slow drying so that it wouldn't crack, and I don't see any cracks. Now, if you're not familiar with Cork Oak, like I wasn't the first time I ever turned it, this is where cork comes from a tree. The cork in wine bottles, the cork on a cork board, this is it. Now, when it's on the piece of wood like this, basically untouched, it reminds me of Shirley Temple's curls in her hair. It's just the coolest stuff. This is probably the coolest wood, not necessarily the most beautiful wood, but just the coolest wood I've ever turned. I just really like it. I crave it. I think I have turned 2 other pieces, maybe 3, but it's cool stuff, and it looks really cool. You get it sanded up, cleaned up, get a finish on there. It looks really cool, and I did not know that cork comes from a tree. I guess I thought it was some sort of man-made material. And the cool part about it is they can harvest the oak from the living tree while it's standing there living, and 7 years later they can do it again. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the drill press. I'm going to cut a flat spot for my chuck jaws to set against and a hole for my woodworm screw. We're going to get it mounted up on the lathe and get to turning. I'm going to start turning from the top side down in an effort to keep the bark on, although I don't remember that being an issue with the previous pieces that I've done. Bark seems to stick pretty well, but better safe than sorry. So I'll be going this way for a while. I don't plan on rounding this up totally. I don't want it to be a totally round piece. Kind of want to follow the shape that it is, which I know is kind of an odd shape, but I like odd shapes. The goal here, of course, is just to flatten off the bottom and put a tenon or a recess down here. We're going to be turning at 600 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. Now I feel like we're touching just about everywhere. Yeah, we're getting there. What I'm doing is I'm kind of tapering the outer edges up a little bit. So once we create a base, you'll be able to get your fingers under here to lift it up. But again, still trying to keep the basic shape that it is. I'm looking at these corners, seeing if I've ruined them or they look okay. They look like cork. So I'm going to mark out for, I think, a recess. I'm going to get rid of the tailstock here. raise my tool rest a little bit so that I can use my dovetail tool. Put a dovetail on the side here. And that is good. I'm not sure how I'm going to clean the wax off the ends, scrape it off, I guess. That looks okay, right? Alright, I'm going to figure out how to scrape the wax off of here. I'm going to start the sanding with my Sandoflex. This is 180 grit. I'm going to sand all of the bark along here. Oh, and by the way, instead of scraping that wax off the ends, I just took this piece off, went over to the bandsaw, sawed off a 32nd of an inch. So it's nice and clean and flat, and it's gone, and it was a whole lot easier than scraping it. Anyway, so I'll sand all of the bark here along the top edge. After that, I'll use my 2-inch disc starting at 80 grit, and I'll sand all of the turned parts. And I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. And I'll do more of that, but you have to be really delicate with this bark. It's soft, as you might imagine, so I don't want to change what it looks like. I just want to clean it up and smooth it out a little bit. And then with the lathe spinning in reverse at about 350 RPM. And that's what that looks like. And I'll do that up through 400 grit. And I'll bring you back here in a bit and we'll put some kind of finish on there. See you in a bit. Well, I'm going to chicken out again. I'm using Howard feed and wax. And when I say chicken out, this is what I used on the other pieces that I did. And I think I said maybe on the last one that I would try shellac. But I'm just afraid that any finish other than something soft like this feed and wax that has wax in it, I'm afraid it would make the cork hard, brittle, and I think this will make it nice and supple and keep it that way. So I'm using it again. Maybe one day I'll try shellac. It's just that to me this wood is so valuable, so rare, that I don't want to ruin it. We've got a high wind warning going on, 60 miles an hour tonight they predict. Why does wind always seem to come at night? I just hope I get my dinner cooked before the power goes out. And snow maybe in the next day or two, and highs in the 20s in the next day or two. So I hopefully will get this done tomorrow. I think tomorrow's supposed to be in the 30s, but after that in the 20s. And I'll do the inside here after I sign it. I can't sign over this stuff. I can put this stuff over the signature, however. Okay, that's what that looks like. What do you think? Looks nice, right? Okay, I'm going to let that set for 20 minutes, buff it up, go in the house and cook my dinner, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, I hope, power permitting. Okay, There you go. See you tomorrow. I've turned the piece around and have the chuck jaws expanded into the recess. We're going to be turning at a little over 1200 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. I just want to see where I am here. Come a little bit further. Funny looking wood, huh? It's so dark. You see this? It's much darker than the other cork oak that I've turned. It'll come out just a little bit further, not much. Oh, we can go farther than I thought. Yeah, I've got about an inch right now, so I'll go another 3/4 of an inch or so. I know, that wasn't enough either. Okay, we're about 3/8 right now. I think that'll probably do it. Yep, 1/4 inch. Well, that was pretty easy peasy, quick and easy. What do you think? Weird shape, huh? That's the fun of it, isn't it? And that wood's going to be quite dark once we get the finish on there. But first, time for sanding. I'm going to start the sanding with 80 grit disc and work up through 400. I'll have the lathe spinning in reverse at 350 RPM. I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. Then I can do forward as well. And like I said, up through 400, I'll go ahead and put the finish on there. I want you to get the full effect of the finish on the bark cork. So I'll show it to you all here in just a little bit. Be sure you stick around at the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, here it is. One cork oak bowl in the books. See, now that's not so bad, is it? That shape. You can live with that. That's not so bad. I like it. I like it quite a little bit, as a matter of fact. And I like the dark brown color. And I think it looks good that way as well. And if you want to, you can stand it up on a shelf this way, on either side here. It'll just stand up and look pretty for you. I'm sorry, I just like it a lot. The wood is much darker than the other two, at least two that I've turned. I don't know why that is. It can't be like it's all heartwood or something. It's all that color. If there'd be any heartwood, it would be further up this way. I just don't know why, but it's cool. And it feels good. The cork, just, it's so soft. You know, you can squeeze it just like a cork. It feels kind of like rubber. Hope you like it. Be sure you let me know down there in the comments. Thank you, Dennis, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I love reading them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.